CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mental Health Talk with yours truly. I am Christina McIntyre. I hope that y'all had the best week that y'all could. And remember, we can't change what happened yesterday. We can only focus on the now and continue to move forward. Want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Flawless Tires. You can find them at 1195 Chester Pike. Make sure you ride down there and check them out. Also, there is an event coming up with Lashes and Cocktails. They're having a Juneteenth event on June the 19th, 17 East 7th Street in Chester, PA. This is a free event, but if you want to collect, they're giving away glam bags. So for the first 25 people, you can get a glam bag. For the second 25 people, you can get a swag bag, but you must register on Eventbrite in order to receive those. So definitely, if you go to my page, Christina McIntyre, you can find the link to it, and just come out and check out. There's going to be a lot of different women there promoting their entrepreneurship. Definitely come out and support the people in the community, support small businesses so that we can unite and grow. Also visit my website, www.becomeyourc.com. Go there, check out. I sell things on there. I talk about our mental or emotional, physical, and spiritual. And then I have a blog on there I write as well. Follow me on Instagram, Become Your C, YouTube, BYC, Become Your C, and Facebook is either Christina McIntyre or BYC, Become Your C. And so the topic for this week, I wanted to discuss mental health and support. And support can come from a lot of different ways. We have community support, we have support from family and friends, and then we have our self-support. And support looks different for everybody, but I'm going to give like a broad range of them. So in order to find support, you must be willing to ask and seek out it, right? First, talk to your doctor. Your doctor can give you a list of other doctors you can talk to. If you have a therapist or you don't have a therapist, there is a website you can go to. I think it's on psychology.com where you can search for a therapist in your area. Also, if you're in school, elementary, high school, or college, you can go to the school and ask support from there. Churches or community centers. And then also they said you can start your own support group as well. And then I put social media because that's how I actually, when I was first struggling with my mental health issues, I didn't really know how to speak out about it to my family and friends. And kind of felt isolated, and then the stigma that's still on mental health illness. And so I joined a lot of different support groups for panic and anxiety, for depression. There I found some comfort knowing that other people were going through the same things that I was going through. So definitely reach out. It is there for you, but you have to take the first step in an initiative in order to get the help that you need. We all want to have a life that is peaceful. Living with mental health, it's a struggle on a day-by-day basis, but knowing that we have that support behind us can make our quality of the life better. And they also have some, I'm going to give some websites that you can go visit and check them out. the NAMI hotline, which stands for National Alliance on Mental Illness. They is NAMI.org, NAMI.org. They have support groups on there as well, or you can call them 800-950-6264, and they can point you in the right direction. Also, mentalhealth.gov. They can do the same thing, point you in the right direction. And if you ever feel like that you are at your wit's end, that you feel like you can't make it, you feel like you want to end your life, please don't. There is support out there, and I understand how it gets to that point where you feel like living sometimes just doesn't seem possible, but there is a brighter side on the other side of it. You just have to be willing to get the help that you need. And the suicide hotline is 800-273-8255, or you can go to suicidepreventionlifeline.org. Don't I understand why people do commit suicide. The more that I learn, that is like the last option, right? People feel like they are alone, and lack of support can cause you to think of that as the last resolution. But there is help. Make sure that you reach out for help. If you don't have immediate help in your family or friends, go online. Nowadays they have psychologists and therapists online where you could do video chat, and you don't have to be in person. I know some people suffer from being out with people, and so they have this bad social phobia. So it makes it easier for them to get the help that they need. So definitely check that out. If you ever need someone to talk to about mental health illness, you can always inbox me. I can be as supportive as I can. I can give you some information that I have done that helps me along and gets by day. And so that brings me on to my next point. What does lack of support do to you? So not having support can affect you in a lot of different ways. It can affect you mentally, emotionally, and physically as well. You feel like you're alone. You feel like you're isolated. You feel like you don't have no one in your corner to turn to. And sometimes a lot of people just need someone to speak to. Knowing that you have that can increase your overall chance of survival, and then especially dealing with mental health issues, and it definitely will increase your quality of life. So lack of support can cause a lot of, again, mental and physical conditions such as a high blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, obesity, a weakened immune system, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, anxiety, and depression. I believe that we were not meant to be alone, and so when you do suffer, I know certain mental illnesses will keep you isolated. It will cause you to push people away. I used to do that. I used to keep myself at home. I was afraid to be in public. I always thought that people were talking about me. I don't know why, but eventually I learned how to control that and realized that people aren't worried about you as much as you think they are. But it took some time. It took years actually to get to that point, being comfortable just to even go outside. And so having anxiety as well in certain situations can make it seem worse. Anxiety is one of those illnesses that you don't know when it's going to happen. Like, I have a lot of panic and anxiety. For the last couple weeks, it seemed like almost every day. And so what anxiety do is keep you locked in, away from everything. It causes you not to want to do anything because you're fear that you may have a panic or anxiety attack at any given moment. But through learning, through growing, through reading, I realized that the best fight for mental illness is to push yourself beyond what you're afraid of and do what you want to do. Mental illness will keep you trapped in a box, and you don't have to allow it. You just have to push yourself. And I know it seems hard sometimes, especially when you're suffering, of like, I gotta get up and I gotta push myself. It's just baby steps. You take it each day as it comes, but overall, eventually you'll find the strength. You'll be more confident in yourself, and then get yourself the help that you need so that you can live your life the way that you want to. Then there is also lack of access to supportive services. So depending on communities, like some communities don't have just don't have the access to supportive services. They might not be funded enough, and so what can we do about that? Talk about finances. That's one reason why certain communities don't have the access to it. Lack of mental health professionals. So, in the mental health field, I went to school for it's human services, and they don't pay a lot, and so the lack of people that are out there to actually help is limited, and so they are overwhelmed. They have a lot of some people have a lot of clientele. So some you'll find that some therapists and psychologists can't take any more patients at that time. And so what do you do at that point? So we have to increase awareness, be more educated in mental health. That's one way. And then I believe that we need to pay people more. It seems like a lot of the service or a lot of the professions that's out there that are geared toward helping people, they typically pay less. And so I think it's important to recognize that mental health illness is a real thing. And then I think a lot of it's still a stigma on it. And I think a lot of people don't take it the way that they should, because you can't see mental health illnesses, right? It's something that exists inside of us, and so when people look at you, they'll be like, "You look fine," but not realizing that you're suffering, and excuse me, I can't get my words out. You're suffering internally, so it's important, and then also racial barriers. So there is a lot of stigma on mental health, but also when you're of a different background, it is more of a stigma on there. Like typically, African Americans receive less treatment than those of a different race. Their illness goes underdiagnosed or overdiagnosed. Also, access to healthcare, doctors, insurance is high. Sometimes people don't qualify for state insurance. So if you have to pay out of pocket and you're taking care of yourself and your household, a $200 or $300 health insurance plan is not feasible for you right now. And so you don't get the help that you need. And so you're going about this yourself and trying to do things to help, but not having that access. So it's a lot of different things that they're trying to work on. But I believe that we as people in the community, we need to fight harder to get these services that we need, especially if we expect people to become, vibrant citizens in our community. So how can we, as people, improve getting the support that we need for ourselves and our community? We have to increase the demand of mental health professionals, and it's hard to try to do things by yourself, but it's possible to do these things when we have a community behind it and people that support it. Like again, the stigma is still on mental health illnesses, especially in certain communities, and it's hard to get the access you need. And then a lot of times doctors will not provide you. Let's say you decide to do medication for your illness, doctors will think that you're just taking it just because you want to be addicted to something. Like I had that experience going to the doctor for my sister. It was for something else, but getting looked at, oh, we can't give you this. I'm like, well, she needs it. Oh, well, I don't know if you can have it or not. And so having that stigma, so we have to increase a knowledge amongst people and make sure that we're not getting targeted just because of our race. Using technology as a tool also. I was reading this morning that they actually have apps out now where you can sign up and you can talk to someone. You can do a message or you can do a video. Sometimes people feel more comfortable in their home, especially with this pandemic going on right now, and then being able to have access to that, because years ago there was no FaceTime, there was no messenger, and being able to speak to people on video via the phone. But now it's technology definitely has increased access into it, and if you're someone that does have a social phobia, it's hard for you to go out there in public to get the help that you need. So having that service provider, or if you're disabled and you're not able to walk, or you just can't get, if you're that depressing, you just can't get out of bed, having that available to you can increase your overall chance. And then another way of support is through family and friends. And this is hard because a lot of times our family and friends, they may not be supportive as we need them to be. A lot of times we don't know how to speak about what's going on with us with our family and friends. I know for myself, I kept my issues hidden because I felt like people didn't really understand what I was going through, or they thought that I was making it up, or I felt like it wasn't as important as other things. But being able to speak about it now, I definitely feel more comfortable having support. I believe that the more you speak about something, the more you'll find people are attracted to that. When I started, I actually started a YouTube page like 3 years ago about mental health. And at first it was, I had anxiety about it. But the more that I spoke about it, the more that I realized that people were supportive. It was just me in my own head, isolating my own self. So it's important, and I understand, mental health illness, you feel like you're the only one out there, you're the only one suffering, but there's so many people out there that's going through the same things that you're going through. And it's important to reach out, and knowing that you have people. I know that now. I explain myself, like just last week, I was driving after I dropped off my brother, and I was going through a bad panic attack, and I felt like I always feel it coming. My blood starts rushing, and I had to get off the highway because I didn't want to be stuck in traffic. And then I'm driving around in a circle. I started getting dizzy, and so I had to teach my son how to dial 911 just in case something ever happened to me. And that's how anxiety and panic makes you feel, like you're about to die. And luckily I was able to call someone, calm me down. I work for my brother and my sister-in-law, so I texted them, like, look, hey, I'm running late. I had a bad panic attack. Okay, problem solved. Having that support now definitely means a lot. One of my sisters also suffers from panic and anxiety, and having her as a support system to speak about these issues with definitely makes me feel comforted, right? You want to have people in your corner that know what you're going through, and knowing that, hey, maybe you're running late because, this situation happened. And it used to be really bad for me. I used to take like 2 or 3 hours to get somewhere because I was having severe panic attacks. And then if you're the other person on end, like being the supportive person, talk to those people that that are suffering, right? Reach out to people. Sometimes people don't know that they're suffering from mental health illness. And if you haven't heard from them in a while, or like especially now with social media, you're seeing their posts seem more sad or more upset, reach out to them. Some people just need somebody to talk to. Sometimes, like when we're stuck in our mental health situations, we can't logically think, right? Our thoughts are going a mile a minute. Sometimes we create stuff in our head that doesn't even make sense, but to us it makes sense. But having someone kind of to talk us off the edge, having that support that can bring us back to reality, and letting us know that, hey, I'm here for you if you need to speak about it. This is what you can do. And most of the time, well, with mine, it's just about breathing. And then I learned ways to kind of deal with it, but they are scary, right? Every mental health issue looks different for everybody. Like the way that I suffer might not be the same way someone else suffers. And then there are variations of mental health, like schizophrenia, that is a more difficult illness to deal with. And then you have to go about it accordingly. And again, one person that suffers from schizophrenia might look different from another one. So definitely be supportive. Be proactive in helping them, right? Try to give them solutions to solve. If it's beyond your reach, suggest to them that they can go to the doctor, suggest to them that they find a therapist. And some people will fight back with you, right? They'll be like, no, I'm good, I'm fine, I can handle it on my own. There's only so much you can do as a person, and I understand, that. And if it comes to that point, there's nothing more that you can do. But you can always offer a ear to listen, and then a hand to hold. Sometimes people need a hug. You don't know what people are going through. Sometimes mental illness comes from, our physical diseases. Sometimes they're hereditary. Sometimes they're biological and environmental. So being gentle with those people that are suffering can definitely help them in the long run. Then ask appropriate questions when you are in conversations with them, and then again, share strategies. Like a lot of us that suffer, our minds don't think the same way as a typical normal person. So giving people solutions and strategies. Again, the internet is definitely a good tool to use now. That's where I find a lot of help from. I'm so glad that technology part of it is the way it is now. There's definitely more help and more support. I belong to so many different groups for mental health illness. For me, I use holistic healing as a way to combat my mental health through chakras. And again, I talk briefly about chakras. There are energies in our body, and when they're out of balance, they can create havoc internally, and it can cause of mental health symptoms. So I choose to do the holistic approach, not knocking medication. If you do need medication, if you're at that point where you cannot live anymore with it, please talk to a doctor. Find whatever solution works for you. And everything doesn't work for everybody. And I just want people to get to the point where they can have peace in their life and not struggle as much as they can. And so whatever solution can do that for you, definitely do that. Again, but support also comes from supporting yourself. And when I mean supporting yourself, so at the end of the day, people are going to be there. You have the support, but you have to recognize that maybe you need help. You have to recognize that maybe you have some issues that you need to deal with. And you have to kind of take your life back. And it is hard. But it's through practice, right? You have to be consistent in your helping efforts, especially helping yourself. People are going to help you, but so much, and then you have to kind of take the wheel and drive yourself. Talk to your doctor again. And options, I put diet and lifestyle. Especially through this last week, I realized that certain things was triggering my panic and anxiety. Like I, try to work out. I read every day. I meditate every morning. I practice gratitude, and I still was finding myself. Then I had to change things up a bit. I realized I was drinking too much water. I drink decaf coffee, but instead of drinking it first thing in the morning, I have to drink it after I eat. So changing my lifestyle to help my mental illness. And that's what you may have to do. Some people are so scared to change, especially your diet and lifestyle. I mean, food can trigger mental health issues, especially with children with ADHD. Too much sugar, all that processed stuff, the yellow dye, the red dye can trigger or make ADHD worse in children. And so caffeine, chocolates, too many carbs, all of these things can make your mental health illness worse. So sometimes changing it, and again, change is not easy, but it's necessary to survive, right? We must change in order to grow. And so if you want to find ways and strategies to help, you have to help yourself, and that's a part of supporting yourself. And then try to stay positive as possible. And it's hard. Some days you don't feel like getting up. You feel like crap. You just want to go back under the covers. You don't want to be bothered with. You sometimes maybe want to drink and just say, F it all. But I'm telling you, you're here for a reason. You got purpose. And every day that you get up is every day that you should try to just fight a little bit. I try to, I have this book that I read every morning, and it's positivity. I try to practice positive mantras. And there's just saying, I have one that I say every day: I control my thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and it's all about me. And knowing that this is going to pass. And so I try to do that. Even at my lowest points, I try to find something to be grateful for each day, and that is the key especially struggling with mental health. You get up every day, you fight every day, and find something to be grateful every day. And whatever that is, it could be your children, it could be you opened your eyes, you have movement in your body, but just finding that one thing and then practice something every day. Say to yourself in the mirror that you can do this. Listen to positive music. You know, I know sometimes we like to listen to, I call it crappy music. But what music does is sends, excuse me, what music does is sends vibrations to our cells, and our cells are listening. And so you want to feed yourself positivity. The more positive things you feed yourself, the better you feel overall. And I'm talking about food, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about, you know, your environment. Everything contributes to how your mental health is going to be. If you know things are triggers, don't put yourself in situations. I know that I can be around a lot of people, but not too many people. I know that I don't like negativity, so I can't be around negativity. You can feed off of people's energy. I believe energy can intercept with you. So definitely pay attention to your surroundings again, and reach out. If you're suffering from mental health issues, just reach out to somebody, and then allow yourself to be available. And it's scary, especially if you have a social phobia, but start small. Like what I did, I know how I want my life to be, so I had to put myself in situations where it was scary. And again, I was having panic and anxiety, but I still do it. I think the more that we do something that we're afraid of, the more comfortable we'll be each time we do it. And it's definitely, it's scary, right, to put yourself out there. But knowing that you have support in your system, and then again, if you have people in your corner that's not supporting you, whether you trying to start your own business, whether you're trying to go back to school, whether you're trying to buy a house, car, you want to have children, if you have people that's always negatively talking and speaking, maybe you should change your circle of people. All negativity do is bring you down. It brings your energy down, and it brings your spirit down. Don't be around people like that. It's going to hurt when you remove yourself from people, but I always believe that God will supply what you need, and he will bring people in your life that you need. You just have to trust and believe that, and continue to allow yourself to grow, push yourself past your limitations. And I'm not saying go out and do 100 right away. Everything is about baby steps, right? Every time you take a step, you're taking a step moving forward. And slow progress is better than no progress. So try a little bit harder each day to become the person that you meant to be. Mental health disorders, it kind of hides who we truly are. It keeps us locked in this box. And I believe that we'll never get to be who we are truly meant to be if we allow mental health disorders to control us. We have to take control back of our life, and it is a struggle. It's a day-to-day struggle. It is not fun. I get up early every morning so I can exercise and read and meditate and practice gratitude. It's tiring, right? I have to get up at the crack of dawn just to do these things, but I have to find solutions that I can enjoy my life, and that's what you need to do. You have to find solutions for yourself so that you can enjoy your life and you don't just exist. Existing means that you're just going by day, the same old routine. That gets tiring after a while. That can cause depression. So find what makes you happy. Build a life. Create your reality the way that you want it to be. But first, it starts with yourself. Starts with the people around you, your family and friends, and your community. And so we have to, especially we're part of this every community, we have to build up the people in the community. That's how communities stay strong. That's how people stay strong. Be supportive as you can. No, you don't have to do everything for everybody, but being support. Sometimes support means just being there, knowing that someone is there and they have your back. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. And definitely tune in every Sunday at 12 p.m. Mental Health Talk with Christina McIntyre on Facebook. Download the Live 365 app and listen Sundays 12 p.m., Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Again, check out Flawless Tires at 1195 Chester Pike and Eddie Stone. And again, Lashes and Cocktails is throwing a Juneteenth event on June the 19th, 1 to 4. It is free. But if you want to get some free gifts, make sure you go to Eventbrite and register. And remember, you're worthy and worth it and valuable, and you're intricate part in this universe, and you matter. Fall in love with yourself so the world can fall in love with you. Until next time.